For those of you I haven't met, my name is Kent Williams, Head of Global Equities Portfolio Manager for the Global Growth and Global Growth 2 funds, both of which feed very extensively into our KiwiSaver funds. So for tonight, really excited to share with you the huge amount of work the team's done behind the scenes this year in uplifting everything we do from an idea generation perspective. For single purpose, improve performance. And I do want to acknowledge upfront that we are aware, historically, the performance of both of these funds hasn't been where it needed to be. Pleasingly, if you are following these funds, I'm sure you would have seen the big improvement that we've delivered this year. So based on that, tonight, I'm going to explain to you exactly what we've enhanced, give you a bit more detail on how we manage these funds, so you can get an understanding of why performance is now stronger. In global equities, we have up to 50 times more stocks than our other funds. 50 times more. So this year in taking over these funds, the opportunity was to change the approach around how we handle that size. In doing so, we've systemized our approach to idea generation by combining technology with data. No one can be across 15,000 stocks, and it also makes it the perfect place to harness technology. So here's what we've done. Our core beliefs: strong businesses, management alignment, earnings growth with reasonable valuations and an awareness of risk have been translated into a single piece of proprietary code that now runs every day on each one of those 15,000 companies. And what does this actually do? Well, put simply, it generates a high-quality list of the very best ideas that we know are worth our time. The way I like to think about it, it's like looking for accommodation. You're in a totally foreign country, and you go from where do we even start to here are today's top hotels. And you have this consistently refreshed and delivered to you every single morning. Now, what really excites me about all this? This is not just a naive list. The engine that's driving the research to make this even more powerful: machine learning. This is data from a piece of research the team did just a couple of months back. And this example alone drew on over 47 billion data points. You're seeing barely a fraction of that. Yet I feel already you can see the complexity with patterns changing, evolving. So traditional tools handle this at lower dimensional slices. With machine learning, it's making that research faster, scalable, and at a higher dimension. The way I like to think about it, it's helping us make that daily list more like our very own Google Maps for markets. So it watches the traffic, rates, inflation, volatility, all at once, and gives us a feel for where conditions are changing. But most importantly, we're in the driver's seat. It never buys, it never sells. It has a really specific job. That's to help us spot the winners sooner and just skip the duds. So in that example, it might be the map, we drive the car. And bringing it back to the most important thing, all of this is working. Since taking over these funds earlier this year, both the Global Growth and Global Growth 2 funds are now ranked for performance number 1 and number 2 compared to our New Zealand-based global fund peers. And this has all been done while bringing down the level of risk. So we're getting better ideas, which is helping us make stronger decisions and is improving returns. By running this list daily, we're actually analysing 1.5 million data points every single day. It comes back to a core concept: less noise, clear choices. And that's right where we step in. So by delivering the uplift that I've just shown you, we now have a lot more time to spend on the highest value add part of our jobs, which is making the decisions on the stocks and the portfolio. So I'm going to walk through that. We start with the idea and the idea score. It must score highly on that. Next, we're looking at the fundamentals, making sure we agree. This gives us a first go, no-go point. It still doesn't mean it's getting into the portfolio yet, From here, we're thinking about risk. What would adding this stock do to the shape of the portfolio? What are the implications for our country and sector weights? And are we happy with all that? And if so, what position size should this get? From idea to position size, if any of these conflict, we'll pass. And just as importantly, when facts change on an existing position, we will act. We'll reduce or exit, and we'll move the money to a stronger idea. So we can manage risk really quickly when we need to, and know exactly where to recycle capital into new ideas. It comes back to that core concept. Clear choices, less noise. Because, thanks to the media, there is plenty of noise. And what the media is really good at? Engaging with human emotions. So this is a sample of the headlines that we've all processed this year alone. Machine learning is helping us block out this noise. And by running this daily, we can be focusing on the biggest opportunities, spending our time on the part of our jobs that really matter, and not be chasing the latest headlines. So 2025 has all been around implementing this, showing it works, getting the performance and that performance leadership, which we've done. So for me, 2026 is just as exciting. We've now got the runway to show that what we've done works. So for 2026, absolutely need to maintain that performance. And the roadmap for what we can continue to do with machine learning is huge. So I'm really excited and proud of what the team's delivered this year, both in the uplift and particularly in the performance that we've delivered. To wrap up, I'm going to change gears. I want to zoom out and leave you with just a really simple message. Equities is the best place to generate returns. So this chart of 2 centuries of data sends that message very clearly. What you're seeing here is 200 years of compound returns for the world's major asset classes. And for me, what it makes really clear, investing in equities at virtually any time, particularly with a long-term mindset, would have driven the strongest returns. So there's always going to be reasons to fear the worst, and there's absolutely going to be headlines to make you worry. If you invest with a long-term mindset, history will be on your side. And through that, we'll stick to what works, protect the downside where we can, and as I really wanted to show you tonight, we will keep improving to generate the best performance we can. I'll leave it there.
Questions for you, Kent. The first one, you talk about machine learning. Tell me, is machine learning AI?
Yes, good question. I think this is a good question. I feel there's a lot of terms that are bandied around at the moment with AI and machine learning. So, short answer, machine learning is AI. AI is kind of like the big idea, the umbrella term. And that is, the idea is getting computers to do things that we would call a smart. Machine learning is a specific form of AI, and machine learning is effectively how we develop AI. It's probably the most common form that we use today. And what machine learning is specifically, instead of coding rules into a computer, you give the computer the data and the examples, and it goes and finds what it thinks the rules are. So yeah, machine learning is absolutely AI, and it's probably the most common form used today.
Okay, the other question I've got for you is that could this be rolled out to the other teams at PI? So could the Australasian team be using this machine learning, for example?
That is a very common question that we get, yes. And the reality is, what I wanted to show you on that first slide was the size of the number of companies that we have to look at in global. So you can imagine with machine learning, it's all about data, masses of data. The reality is, global is probably the only place at this point where we have enough data to really get the value from using things like machine learning.
So in that case, it wouldn't be appropriate to use it with Michelle's team, given the smaller number of stocks?
That's correct, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I used to work with Michelle in the Australasian team, and we didn't use it there for the main reason that we can actually be across all the stocks in the market when you've got a team of people on the ground, and it's just, that's something that you actually can't beat with machine learning. Why we use machine learning in global? 15,000 stocks. We want those stocks to come to us. We're not going to be out hunting them. If we can use data to find those great ideas, that's much more powerful.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Kent.
Thank you.